that Jesus stopped and asked a question, a very somewhat strange question, because his disciple responded by saying, "Look, Master, at all these people crowding around you, how can you ask who touched you?" It is logical response. Di ba, Dok? A lot of people crowding you, and now you came to the point of asking that question, who touched you? But Jesus turned to see what touched him. Because Jesus not only experienced maybe that touch, but even what passed out or other kind of, touch. And another point, don't be embarrassed and humiliated if your faith is tested. Why? In verse 33, the woman knew what had happened to her. She came shaking with fear and knelt down in front of Jesus. Then she told him the whole story. Okay. Why is it, Doc Chris? Jesus did not allow the woman to slip away unnoticed. Why is it that Jesus, intentionally stopped and take notice of this event? So for the model chaplain, there were some certain issues to be addressed to this patient as far as healing is concerned. And I would like to give some several reasons, maybe advance for Jesus, of not letting the woman slip away quietly unnoticed. Advance, maybe. First, as with the faith of the centurion, Jesus wanted, Pastor Joel, the faith of the woman to be an example that others might follow. Another thing, Jesus desired her to carry away the lasting joy of knowing that she had been personally noticed and recognized by Jesus. And it is really a nice thing to know if President Bongbong Marcos, in spite of a lot of people crowding him, could be able even to stop and shake your hand and say something. Right? And this happened to this patient. Jesus wished to erase from her mind any superstitious thought that healing had come about as the result of a miracle touch. Her purpose is what? Her goal in mind, because of the crowd and because of the nature of the illness or even of the diseases that she has been suffering. It's impossible for me to come to Jesus personally and approach Him to do healing or to do something for me. It's impossible for me to be able even to be healed with this, even just touching the clothes of Jesus. That is enough for me. And it happened. And so Jesus, Pastor Jubel, did not really want that this woman would just do this. So that there would, this concept or belief would be erased from her mind, that there is no such superstitious thing that just by mere touching Dr. Nathan in the clothes of Jesus there is that healing. And lastly, for her own benefit, Jesus desired her to acknowledge the blessing she had received. And I'm sure, until her last breath, in her existence in this world, this woman did not forget that wonderful experience, Pastor Suren. And she came to the last point. Don't be embarrassed and humiliated if your faith is they say, don't be embarrassed and humiliated if your faith is tested. Same with experience of this patient. And last point, live a life. Live a faithful and consistent Seventh-day Adventist life. If we obey the will of God, even in following the laws of health, the promise of God would be realized in us. We would be able to enjoy longer lives. But if we disobey by not living a consistent life, a faithful life as Seventh-day Adventist, there is that problem. And he said to her, daughter, your faith had made you well. Go in peace and be healed from your affliction. And this is not just physical healing. Go the blood. Stop right away. But there is that good news. There was that good news happened and received with this patient. And the good news, though, he received that healing of the soul. Complete healing. And this is the services in the hospital that we offer that makes us different from other hospitals. And that's the reason why we have chaplains in the hospitals. Tama ba? If we don't have chaplains in the hospital, what will happen to our hospital? There will be no people that would facilitate the healing of the soul. The healing of the soul. That's why we have that guidance in the Pentecost expression. So it should be remembered that all Christ's miracles were wrought by the power of God through the administration of the angels. I have to skip some. So chaplaincy's role in God's healthcare institution in the world. And sa ato role, of course, kung nato lang taong definition, ato naman ang learning is a priest or other priest or religious leader who performs religious services for a military group such as the army or for a prison, hospital, etc. according to Dr. Mark. So meaning, chaplaincy is an office in any public and private and ecclesiastical. Okay? Public, private, and ecclesiastical institution which caters its spiritual affairs. That makes our ministry unique in the hospital. So in the setting of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, chaplaincy is a kind of specialized ministry to guide and assist the institution's leadership and employees as well as a whole in their spirituality. Right? So with this thought, I could say that the chaplain serves as a pastor, overseer, and counselor for the whole hospital family. With this, the chaplain can minister to every person in spite of his or her position or rank in the hospital. The chaplain can minister in meeting the spiritual and emotional needs of the hospital employees and patients, clients as well. And the chaplain can minister in assisting the administration. That's why there is that step in the ADCON for the head chaplain to be part of the AD council. Hospital president officers, ADCON members, and departmental managers as they make what? Decisions. What kind of decision do kaya? Decisions that are what? Bible-based and spiritually sound. Not just purely more on operation. So the chaplain as well.